My girlfriend mocked me in front of her friends, saying I'd never meet her parents, but my calm smile revealed a hidden truth that left her frozen in silence. I'm 29, male, work in digital marketing for a mid-size agency downtown. Been there for 5 years, worked my way up from junior content writer to senior marketing manager. Pull in around $85,000 a year, which isn't CEO money, but it's solid for my age and lets me live comfortably. Own my apartment. Well, the bank owns most of it, but I've been making payments for 3 years now, and my credit score is something I'm actually proud of. Drive a 2019 Honda that's paid off. Nothing flashy, but it's reliable and doesn't make weird noises. I'm not trying to brag here, I'm just giving context. I've got my life together. I'm not some deadbeat she had to support or some project she needed to fix. I'm a functional adult who does meal prep on Sundays, has a retirement account, and remembers to floss most nights. For 2 years, I was with Jessica, 27, female, who works at a tech startup doing product management. We met at our mutual friend Brandon's birthday party back in the summer. He'd rented out this rooftop bar, and I almost didn't go because I'd had a brutal week at work and just wanted to crash on my couch. Tyler convinced me to go, said I needed to get out of my hermit hole and remember what fun feels like. Jessica was there with a group of her friends, standing by the railing overlooking the city lights. She had this energy about her, confident, magnetic, the kind of person who commanded attention without trying. We got to talking about work, startups versus agencies, the pros and cons of corporate culture. She was sharp, funny, made fun of my obsession with organizing my kitchen spices alphabetically. By the end of the night, we'd exchanged numbers. She texted me the next day asking if I wanted to get coffee. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into a weekend hike. Within a month, we were officially together. Looking back now, I can see the love-bombing phase for what it was. She was attentive, affectionate, always wanting to spend time together. Told me I was different from other guys she dated. Said she loved how stable and reliable I was. At the time, those felt like compliments. Now I realize they were just code for convenient. Jessica was everything I thought I wanted. Ambitious, funny, always had interesting stories about her work drama and startup culture. She'd talk about product launches, difficult clients, office politics with this passion that made even boring corporate stuff sound exciting. Within 3 months of dating, she basically moved into my place. Not officially, she kept her apartment across town for independence and some excuse about her lease, but she spent maybe 5 nights a month there. Her toothbrush was in my bathroom. Her clothes filled half my closet. Her plant collection took over my living room windowsill. We fell into this comfortable rhythm that felt like real partnership. Every Sunday, we'd hit Trader Joe's together, filling the cart with groceries for the week. I'd handle the main shopping list while she grabbed snacks and impulse buys. We'd come home, unload everything, and I'd start meal prepping for the week, while she supervised from the couch, offering commentary about my knife skills. Weeknights meant cooking together. Well, I'd cook, and she'd sit at the counter with a glass of something, telling me about her day. I didn't mind. I actually enjoyed cooking, finding it relaxing after a long day of staring at marketing spreadsheets. She'd always compliment the food, post pictures of my cooking on her Instagram with captions like "boyfriend who can cook #blessed." After dinner, we'd collapse on the couch and binge whatever show we were currently obsessed with. Started with The Office, moved to Parks and Rec, then dove into true crime documentaries because she was fascinated by psychology. I'd fall asleep on the couch sometimes, and she'd wake me up around midnight to go to bed properly. Weekend mornings meant brunches at this place called The Daily Grind that made incredible French toast and imported coffee beans. We had our regular table by the window. The staff knew our orders. It felt like couple goals, like we were building this shared life together with routines and inside jokes and plans for the future. I thought I knew her inside and out. I thought we were building towards something permanent. I'd started looking at engagement rings about 2 months ago. Nothing too expensive, but something nice, something that would make her say yes without hesitation. My best friend Tyler had been my boy since college. We'd been through everything together. Failed economics classes where we'd cram together the night before exams. Bad breakups where we'd order pizza and play video games until 4 a.m. His nightmare divorce 3 years ago where his ex-wife took half of everything, including the dog he'd had since before they met. He works in IT security now for a major bank, makes good money fixing their cybersecurity vulnerabilities, and has this annoying habit of being right about people, like eerily right. He can meet someone for 5 minutes and accurately predict their entire personality. When I first introduced him to Jessica about a month into our relationship, he was polite but distant, made small talk, asked the standard questions about her work and interests, but I could tell something was off. After she left to meet her friends, he pulled me aside while we were shooting pool at Murphy's, our usual dive bar with the sticky floors and cheap pitchers. "Something's off about her," he said, lining up a shot on the 7-ball. "What do you mean? She's great, you barely talk to her." "Exactly. She's got this vibe, man, like she's performing for an audience. Everything's just a little too polished, too rehearsed. The way she laughs, the way she touches your arm when she talks, even the questions she asks, it all feels calculated." "Calculated?" I laughed. "She's just confident. That's attractive. There's a difference between confident and manipulative, bro." He sank the 7, moved on to the 12. "I'm not saying she's evil or anything. I'm just saying, watch yourself. Something in my gut says this girl's got an agenda." I brushed it off. Tyler was jaded after his divorce. His ex-wife had seemed perfect for 2 years before he found out she'd been emptying his accounts and planning her exit strategy. Of course, he'd see red flags everywhere. He was like a war veteran who flinches at fireworks. Trauma had made him suspicious of everyone. "You said the same thing about Amy, and she turned out to be great," I reminded him. "Amy was my ex before the disaster, and I was right about her too. She was great for you at the time, but you guys wanted different things." I called that 6 months before it ended. He had actually, but I wasn't going to admit that. But looking back now with clear eyes, there were signs I ignored. Small things that didn't quite add up. Inconsistencies I explained away because I was in love and didn't want to see the truth. Red flag number 1. Jessica never wanted me to meet her parents. Every single time I brought it up, and I brought it up at least a dozen times over 2 years, she had a ready excuse. "They're super traditional and old-fashioned," she'd say. "I want to wait until we're more serious, until I know for sure this is going somewhere." 2 years felt pretty serious to me, but I didn't push hard. Figured we'd get there eventually. She'd shown me pictures of them, told me stories about growing up in their house in the suburbs, mentioned family traditions during holidays, but every time I suggested actually meeting them, the conversation would somehow shift, or she'd get defensive and accuse me of rushing things. Her parents' birthdays would come and go. I'd suggest sending flowers or a card. She'd say they weren't big on gifts from outsiders. Her mom's surgery last year, she went alone. Said the hospital had strict visitor rules. Their anniversary dinner, family only. You understand? Christmas. She'd visit them alone. Come back with presents they'd given her. But I was never invited. Red flag number 2. She spent an enormous amount of time with her college friends. Multiple girls' nights every single week. Sometimes 3 or 4 nights in a row. Weekend trips I wasn't invited to. Girls' weekends to wineries, spa retreats, shopping trips to outlet malls 3 hours away. Constant group chats that would have her phone buzzing nonstop during dinner, during movies, even during intimate moments. She'd apologize, but never actually put the phone down. "Sorry, the group is blowing up right now," she'd say with a laugh, typing away while I sat there feeling like a third wheel in my own relationship. I told myself this was healthy, that she was maintaining her independence, her own social life separate from me, that I didn't want to be that controlling boyfriend who demanded all her time and attention. I had my own friends, Tyler and the guys from my soccer league. I had my own hobbies, building a home gym in my spare bedroom, learning to make actually good pour-over espresso, dabbling in photography. I didn't need her to be available 24/7. But looking back, the time with friends was weirdly secretive. She'd never give me specific details about where they were going or what they were doing, just dinner and drinks, or hanging out or catching up. When I'd ask follow-up questions the next day about how it went, she'd give vague answers and change the subject. I chalked it up to her being a private person. Now I know it was because half those friend hangouts probably included Connor. Red flag number 3, she got defensive about her phone in weird ways. Not obvious. She didn't password protect it or hide it under pillows, but she'd angle the screen away from me automatically whenever a notification popped up. She'd take calls in another room, even when it was supposedly just her mom or a coworker. She'd immediately close apps when I walked into a room, like she'd been caught doing something wrong. One time, I picked up her phone by accident, thinking it was mine. They were both black iPhones sitting on the counter, and she practically lunged at me to grab it back. "That's mine," she'd snapped before laughing it off nervously. "Sorry, just instinct, privacy, you know." When I casually mentioned it once, just saying something like, "Hey, you seem jumpy about your phone lately. Everything okay?" She accused me of being controlling and paranoid, said I was exhibiting toxic masculine behaviors by monitoring her phone use. Made me feel like a bad boyfriend for even noticing. So I backed off, stopped paying attention, gave her the benefit of the doubt. I was so desperate not to be that guy, the jealous, insecure, controlling type, that I ignored massive red flags in the name of being trusting and mature. 4 months ago, she took a work trip to Miami for a conference, sent me pictures of the hotel, the convention center, her and some female co-workers at dinner, asked me to water her office plant while she was gone. I even helped her book the flight because she was stressed about work deadlines. 3 months ago, she started working late more often, sometimes until 9 or 10 at night. Startup life. She'd sigh when she finally came home. I'd have dinner waiting. She'd eat, shower, and crash. We went from having intimacy 3 or 4 times a week to maybe once every 2 weeks. When I tried to talk about it, she said she was exhausted and stressed. I believed her. 2 months ago, I mentioned proposing to Tyler over wings and basketball. "You sure about that?" he asked, giving me that look. "Yeah, why wouldn't I be? You just seem like you're doing all the work in this relationship. When's the last time she actually did something thoughtful for you?" I had to think about it, really think, and I realized I couldn't remember. Every vacation was planned by me. Every nice dinner was my idea. Every thoughtful gesture came from my side. But love isn't about keeping score, right? Wrong. The night everything exploded was supposed to be casual and easy. Jessica texted me around 6 that evening while I was finishing up a project proposal at work, at the Crafted Barrel with college friends. "Come meet us around 8. Not want to come or would love if you joined us. Just a statement, an expectation." I should have noticed the tone, but I was just happy to finally be included. I thought it was actual progress. After 2 years of being kept separate from huge parts of her life, finally getting integrated into her friend group felt like forward movement, like maybe we were getting serious enough that she was ready to blend our worlds together. Maybe the parent meeting wasn't far behind. I finished my work stuff, went home and changed into dark jeans and a button-down shirt I knew she liked. Nothing too fancy, but I wanted to make a good impression. These were her college friends, people who'd known her for years. Their opinion mattered. I wanted them to see that she'd chosen well, that I was a catch, someone worthy of being in her life. I showed up at the Crafted Barrel around 8 on the dot. It's one of those trendy downtown places with exposed brick and industrial lighting, craft beverages from local breweries, appetizers that cost $18 and come in tiny portions. Not my usual scene. I'm more of a sports bar guy, but I knew Jessica liked the atmosphere. Found her at a table near the back corner, surrounded by 6 or 7 people, mostly women in their mid to late 20s, all dressed in that effortlessly stylish way that probably took an hour to achieve, and one guy I didn't recognize. Tall, mid-30s maybe, fitted polo shirt that probably cost more than my entire outfit. Expensive-looking watch catching the dim bar light. He was sitting in the seat right next to Jessica, closer than I liked, his arm draped casually across the back of her chair. She saw me approaching and waved. Didn't stand up, didn't kiss me hello or even get up to greet me. Just a casual wave like I was a coworker she'd spotted across the room. "Hey everyone, this is my boyfriend," she said without enthusiasm, not even using my name, like I was a generic accessory. "Grab a seat." First red flag I ignored, because I was trying so hard to be cool and not jealous or controlling. The only empty chair was at the far end of the table, basically the social Siberia position where you can't really participate in the main conversation. I squeezed into it, smiled at everyone, tried to make eye contact and get some acknowledgement. Got a few polite nods and forced smiles in return. When the server came over, I ordered water. Needed to stay sharp, be present, make good impressions. Everyone else had drinks in various states of emptiness. Glasses with lipstick marks, melting ice, lime wedges. They were in the middle of some story about a trip to Miami last year. Inside jokes, references to people I didn't know. Everyone laughing at shared memories. I just sat there nodding, smiling, feeling like a complete outsider. Jessica barely looked at me. She was totally engaged with her friends, especially the guy in the polo shirt who kept touching her arm when he talked. I tried a few times to contribute to the conversation, asked questions about the trip, made comments about the bar's atmosphere, tried to be friendly. I got polite but dismissive responses, like they were tolerating my presence, but not actually interested in including me. After about 20 minutes of this, one of Jessica's friends, this blonde named Melissa, who I'd met once before, turned to me with this bright, curious smile. "So, when are you finally meeting Jess's parents? You guys have been together forever, right? Like 2 years." The question hung in the air. Everyone went quiet. I felt all eyes turn to me, then to Jessica. I started to answer, opened my mouth to say something casual, like hopefully soon or we're working on it. But before I could get a single word out, Jessica laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not an uncomfortable deflection. A full, genuine, dismissive laugh that cut through the noise of the bar and went straight through my chest like a blade. She looked at Melissa, then at me, and said with this smirk, "You really think I'd ever introduce him to my parents?" The table went dead silent. I felt my face get hot. That prickly sensation you get when you've been slapped in public, and everyone's waiting to see if you'll cry or fight back. The guy in the polo shirt suddenly became very interested in his phone. Another friend stared into her glass like it held the secrets of the universe. Someone coughed awkwardly. Jessica just sat there swirling her glass, smirking like she'd made some inside joke only she understood, like she'd just delivered the punchline to the funniest story ever told. I could feel everyone's eyes on me, waiting, watching. Would I yell? Would I make a scene? Would I shrink down and laugh it off like it was no big deal? I did none of those things. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time in 2 years I felt like I was seeing a complete stranger. This wasn't the woman I'd been building a life with. This was someone who saw me as a punchline, as entertainment for her friends, as something less than human. The clarity was instant and brutal. I smiled, not a fake smile or a hurt smile. The kind of smile you give when you've just figured out the punchline to a joke you didn't know you were part of. "Don't worry," I said calmly. "You won't have to." Then I stood up, pulled out a 20 for the water I'd ordered, dropped it on the table, and walked out. I heard someone behind me, maybe Melissa, maybe another friend, say, "Dude, what the heck?" in a shocked whisper, but I didn't turn around. Didn't need to see Jessica's face. Didn't need anyone's explanation or apology. Didn't need to witness whatever awkward conversation was about to happen at that table. I just walked straight out through the crowded bar, past the host stand, out into the parking lot where the cool night air hit my face like a wake-up call. I got in my car, sat there for a second with my hands on the steering wheel, and just breathed. My hands were shaking, not from anger exactly, but from pure adrenaline, that fight-or-flight response your body has when something threatens your survival. Because that's what this was, a threat, a relationship-ending event, a moment of such crystal-clear truth that it cut through 2 years of self-deception in a single second. I drove home on autopilot, not really seeing the roads or the traffic lights or the other cars, just replaying that moment over and over like a video stuck on repeat. The laugh, the smirk, the way she'd said it so casually, like it was obvious. Like everyone at that table already knew I wasn't good enough, like I was the only one dumb enough to think otherwise. From the sudden, crushing realization that I'd wasted 2 years of my life on someone who saw me as a joke, as a punchline, as someone convenient and comfortable, but not worthy of being introduced to her family, not worthy of being part of her real life, just worthy of paying half the bills and being available when she needed emotional support, or someone to cook dinner, or a warm body to fill space in her bed. I pulled into my parking spot at my apartment complex, turned off the engine, and sat there in the dark for another 10 minutes, just processing, trying to understand how I'd missed this, how I'd been so blind. What else had I missed? What else had she hidden from me? What else was I the last to know? All those excuses about her traditional parents, lies. All those times she said we'd meet them soon, manipulation. She never planned to introduce me. I was never part of her real life. I was just convenient. I expected her to text immediately, to call, to send some frantic apology, to make excuses about being tipsy or joking or not meaning it the way it sounded, to beg me to come back so she could explain. That's what someone who cared would do, right? I went inside, sat on my couch in the dark, and waited. My phone stayed completely silent. 1 hour passed, then 2, then 3. Each minute felt like an hour. I sat there replaying the moment over and over. Frame by frame, the laugh, the smirk, the casual, dismissive cruelty of it. How had I not clearly seen this? What else had I missed? Was I just a placeholder, a warm body to fill space until something better came along? At 11:47 p.m., my phone finally buzzed. But it wasn't Jessica. It was her best friend, Lauren. We'd always gotten along well. She was the one who told Jessica I was a good guy when we first started dating, who'd vouched for me. She seemed calm, reasonable, the kind of person who didn't do drama. The text said, "Hey, I need to tell you something. Can you call me?" I stared at that message for a full minute. My stomach was in knots. Part of me didn't want to know. Part of me desperately needed to. I called her. She picked up on the first ring. "Hey," she said, her voice tight and shaky like she'd been crying. "What's going on? I'm so sorry about tonight," she said immediately. "That was completely messed up. I told Jess that in the parking lot after you left. But there's more you need to know, and I can't keep quiet anymore." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" There was a long pause. Then, Jessica has been seeing someone else for like 6 months. The room tilted. I couldn't breathe. What? His name is Connor. He's some finance guy she met at a networking event back in April. She's been telling us you guys are basically over, that you're just, I don't know, convenient. She said she's waiting for the right time to break up with you. But honestly, I think she just likes having you around. Financial security, emotional support, whatever. I couldn't speak. 6 months. I didn't know the full extent until tonight, Lauren continued, her voice getting stronger. After you left, she was laughing about you. Said you're too nice to make a fuss, that you just accept whatever she told you. And I couldn't sit with that anymore. You don't deserve this. 6 months, I finally managed to say. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I thought you knew. I thought maybe you guys had some arrangement, but tonight made it crystal clear you had no idea, and that's not okay. I thanked her. I don't remember exactly what else I said. My brain was pure static. I hung up and sat there in the dark until 3 in the morning just processing. 6 months, half a year, all those late nights at work, all those girls' weekends, all those times she'd been distant or distracted or too tired. She'd been with him, the Miami work trip probably with Connor. The guy in the polo shirt at the bar tonight had to be him. Every excuse, every lie, every time I'd trusted her and pushed down my doubts, it had all been real. My instincts had been screaming at me, and I'd ignored them because I wanted to believe we were happy. I'd been a complete fool. Then I stopped feeling sorry for myself and started planning. The next afternoon, Jessica finally texted me, "Hey, can we talk? I think you overreacted last night." Overreacted like I was the problem. Like her publicly humiliating me and secretly running a whole other relationship was just a minor misunderstanding. I'd blown out of proportion. I didn't respond. Instead, I called Tyler, explained the situation, asked him a hypothetical question about shared cloud storage and whether someone could access another person's backups. He paused. "What are you thinking?" Jessica and I have been on the same iCloud family plan for over a year, her idea to save money. Does that mean I can access her photo backups? Technically, yes, if you know her login credentials. I do. She's used my laptop 100 times and her password is saved. Tyler was quiet for a moment. "Look, man, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but be careful. And whatever you find, screenshot everything before you do anything else." "Got it, thanks. And hey, I'm sorry, I was right about her." "Me too." I hung up and opened my laptop. My hands were steady now. No more shaking, no more doubt, just cold clarity. I logged into the iCloud account and clicked on photos. There it was. Hundreds of images. Thousands maybe. All synced from her phone. Connor and Jessica at fancy restaurants I'd never been to. Connor and Jessica on a beach in Mexico. That was the work trip from 3 months ago. Connor and Jessica in hotel rooms with rose petals on the bed. Connor and Jessica at what looked like his family's lake house. Both of them in matching holiday sweaters, his arm around her waist, her leaning into him with a smile I recognized because she used to give it to me. There were screenshots of their text conversations, plans for trips, inside jokes, him calling her baby, and her responding with heart emojis. A whole relationship documented and backed up right there in front of me. The Miami trip, Connor was there. I found photos of them on the beach, at clubs, in bed together. The late work nights, dates with Connor, the girls' weekends, half of them included Connor. I felt sick, but I also felt vindicated. This wasn't in my head. I wasn't being paranoid or insecure. This was real documented proof of exactly how much of a fool she'd made of me. I spent 2 hours downloading everything, every photo, every screenshot, every piece of evidence, organized them by date in a folder on my desktop. Then I logged out and cleared my browser history. She called me that night. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail, her voice sweet, but with an edge of annoyance. "Look, I'm sorry I embarrassed you. I'd had too much to drink and wasn't thinking straight. Can we please just talk? I miss you." I texted back, "We can talk tomorrow. Coffee at Brew Awakening, 2 p.m. She replied immediately, "Okay, thank you, I love you." I stared at those 3 words, "I love you." Did she? Had she ever? Or was I just the stable backup plan while she explored her options? I didn't respond. The next day, I got to the coffee shop 15 minutes early, ordered my usual, grabbed a table in the back corner, and waited. Jessica showed up 17 minutes late, wearing the blue sundress I bought her for her birthday. She sat down across from me, smiling like nothing had happened, like she hadn't destroyed me 2 nights ago. "Hey," she said brightly, reaching for my hand across the table. "I'm really sorry about the other night. I was totally out of line. I'd had way too much and wasn't thinking clearly." I pulled my hand back. "Tell me about Connor." Her face went completely white. all the color drained out like someone had pulled a plug. What? Connor? The guy you've been seeing for 6 months. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Who? Who told you that? Does it matter? It's not what you think, she said quickly, eyes darting around like she was looking for an escape route. We're just friends. He's… Stop. I pulled out my phone, opened the photos folder I'd organized last night, and slid it across the table. I have about 300 photos that say otherwise. Her hand was shaking as she picked up the phone. She scrolled for maybe 5 seconds before putting it down, her eyes filling with tears. How did you… iCloud family plan? I said calmly. You're terrible at technology, by the way. You should probably change your password. She started crying, real tears this time. Not the manipulative kind she'd use when she wanted something. These were panicked, desperate tears. I didn't mean for this to happen, she said, voice breaking. Connor and I we connected. We met at this event and started talking, and it just happened. But I do care about you. I didn't want to hurt you. You didn't want to hurt me, I repeated slowly. But you humiliated me in front of your friends, spent 6 months lying to my face, and let me think we had a future, while you were planning your life with someone else. I was confused, she said, getting louder. I didn't know how to end things with you. You're so good to me. You're stable and kind and convenient. I finished for her. That's the word Lauren used. Convenient. She flinched like I'd slapped her. She had no right. She had every right. She's a better friend to me than you ever were a girlfriend. I stood up. We're done, Jessica. I want you out of my apartment by the end of the week. I'll stay at Tyler's place until you're gone. Leave your key on the counter when you're finished. She grabbed my hand across the table, her nails digging into my skin. Please, can we just talk about this? I'll end things with Connor right now. I'll do whatever you want. I made a mistake. Please don't throw away 2 years. I pulled my hand away. You already threw them away. I'm just cleaning up the mess. You can't do this. Actually, I can. I already talked to the landlord this morning. The lease is only in my name. You have no legal right to stay, so pack your stuff and get out of my life. I left her sitting there crying into her cold coffee. I'd actually called my landlord that morning and explained the situation. He was sympathetic, told me I had every right to ask her to leave since she wasn't on the lease and had never paid rent. Jessica moved out in 3 days. Lauren helped her pack and texted me updates so I'd know when it was safe to come home. She's taking the coffee maker, one text said. I didn't care. She could take whatever she wanted. I just wanted her gone. She's crying and asking if you'll talk to her. Another text said, nope, she's gone. Left the key on the counter like you asked. The final text said, she's a mess, but you did the right thing. I'm proud of you. I blocked Jessica on everything. Phone, social media, email. I even blocked Connor, though we'd never spoken and never would. I needed a clean break, no reminders, no temptation to check in or see how she was doing. For 2 weeks, I focused on work, hit the gym harder than I had in years, and started reorganizing my apartment. Erased every trace of her, donated the decorative pillows she'd insisted on, replaced the shower curtain she'd picked out, bought new sheets. Then Lauren texted me, "Are you sitting down?" My heart sank. What now? Connor broke up with Jessica. I actually laughed out loud. I was in the produce section at Trader Joe's, and people stared, but I couldn't help it. Why? Apparently he didn't know she was still in a relationship with you. She told him you guys broke up last year, that you were just roommates finishing out a lease. When he found out the truth, I think someone from our friend group told him, he completely lost it, called her a liar and a cheater, and blocked her on everything. Good for him, I said, and I meant it. There's more, Lauren said. She tried to move back in with her parents. They kicked her out. What? Why? Her mom found out about the whole thing. Jessica's parents loved you, by the way. They thought you were going to propose. Her mom had been asking about you constantly. When they found out what Jessica did, her mom told her she was embarrassed to call her daughter. Said she didn't raise her to be a liar and a cheater. Her dad backed her up. I didn't know how to feel about that. Part of me felt vindicated. Part of me just felt sad. Sad for the time I'd wasted. Sad for the person I thought Jessica was. Sad for the future I'd imagined that would never exist. Where is she staying now, I asked, with Melissa, the friend who asked the question that started everything. Perfect. The irony was perfect. It's been 3 weeks since I walked out of that bar. 3 weeks since Jessica's laugh made my decision for me. She's been trying to reach out through mutual friends, asking if I'd give her another chance, saying she's learned her lesson and grown as a person in 3 weeks. Right. Last week, I went on a first date with someone new. Her name's Rachel. We matched on Hinge. She's a 4th grade teacher, loves hiking, has a golden retriever named Biscuit. On our first date, we talked for 3 hours and closed down the restaurant. The conversation flowed naturally. She asked questions and actually listened to the answers. She laughed at my jokes without making me feel like the punchline. On our second date, she asked me, "So, when do I get to meet your friends? I want to know the people who are important to you." I smiled. "Whenever you want." She squeezed my hand across the table. Good answer. I'm not fully healed yet. Some days I still think about Jessica, about what I missed, about how someone can lie to your face for 6 months and sleep next to you at night, about all the signs I ignored, all the red flags I explained away because I wanted to believe we were happy. But I'm getting there, and I know now what I won't accept. I won't be someone's backup plan. I won't be someone's joke. I won't be convenient. I won't be hidden away like a shameful secret. Lauren told me yesterday that Jessica's been posting cryptic Instagram stories, sad quotes about losing the one, and if I could turn back time and biggest regret of my life. I haven't looked. Don't need to. That chapter is closed. Tyler took me out last weekend. Just the two of us, wings and basketball like old times. "You know what I respect?" he said during halftime. "You didn't beg, didn't try to win her back, didn't make it messy, just cut your losses and walked away. Most guys would have tried to fight for her or make a scene." "What was there to fight for?" I asked. "She made her choice. I just respected it and made mine." "Exactly. That's why you're going to be fine. You know your worth." He was right. For 2 years, I'd let Jessica define my worth. Let her make me feel like I wasn't good enough to meet her parents. Like I should be grateful she was with me at all. Like I was lucky to have her. Now I know better. I'm 29, have a good career, own my place. Treat people with respect and know how to be a good partner. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's not something to hide from your parents. That's something to be proud of. Jessica's loss, not mine. Rachel and I have our 3rd date this weekend. She wants to go to this art museum downtown, then grab dinner at a place she's been wanting to try. She's already talking about introducing me to her sister and her college roommate. She's not hiding me, not embarrassed, not using me as a placeholder. She sees me. Actually sees me. That's what I deserve. That's what everyone deserves. So to anyone reading this who's been in a similar situation, who's been made to feel like they're not good enough, like they should be grateful for scraps of affection, like they're the problem, trust your gut. Those red flags you're ignoring, they're real. That voice in your head saying something's wrong, it's right. Don't wait for the public humiliation like I did. Don't waste years of your life on someone who sees you as convenient rather than essential. Know your worth. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. As for Jessica, I hope she figures out whatever's broken inside her. I hope she learns that you can't build a life on lies and expect it to stand. I hope she grows into someone who can actually love another person instead of just using them. But that's her journey to take. Mine is just beginning, and for the first time in 2 years, I'm actually excited about where it's going.